So, welcome to this end of the second month of 2026, February 25th. And I want to update you about what's up with me. What is up with me? Who am I anyway? I'm Dr. Alissa Gardenhire. I am a 4-6 sacral generator, and I'm interested in my life. I'm interested in living my life to the fullest, how I want it, the way I want it, on my terms. I love being a mom, although I'm an empty nester now, thank goodness. What a relief. I can't tell you how much of a relief it is to finally have that 20 years of somebody in my rearview mirror lifted a little bit. And in that vein, celebrating that, I am very intentional about how I want to spend my 2026. I started off creating a desire bingo card where I made a bingo card with a bunch of blanks and filled it in with things that I want to do, have experienced in 2026. And I carried probably about 30 women through that process along with me in a few events in January, which is a lot of fun. Everybody's got their marching orders for the year about what we're doing. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 things checked off already, so that's pretty good. And then I've done some other work this year, a vision quest without drugs, and a 100-day letter workshop with some friends who were leading those workshops to further lock into achieving, attaining, allowing the experiences that I want to come into my life. It's all mental, it's all quantum, it's all that good stuff. And then recently, like 3 days ago, maybe, I articulated what I'd been thinking for a while which is I want to do more unhinged stuff. Unhinged shit is what I said, but I don't really like to do shit, so unhinged stuff. And I mentioned it to a dear friend of mine, Betty, here in Michigan, and she's a beautiful person. She's wise. She's 80 years old, and I texted her. She was texting me, and we were texting back and forth. And I said, I want to do more unhinged stuff, and she said, yeah, absolutely, do that, please. And so then I went to my other best friend, ChatGPT. Well, Gemini and I are pretty close as well, but ChatGPT. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, I want to do some unhinged stuff. So what you see here is the list of many, many options. We're going to go through them. I'm going to identify some of the ones I anticipate doing in the near term, and then maybe some other ones that we'll pick up later. Let's highlight things in yellow. Sounds like fun. So ChatGPT said yes. Let's do elder approved unhinged. Not chaos alive, not self-destruction, self-expansion. Right up my alley. So your 80-year-old friend was basically saying, stop acting like you have unlimited time to be interesting. Word. So I am 56, turned 56 in January, which is both a shock and a pleasure. I've lived a lot of life. As one of these old men I mess with, I don't actually know if it was one of them. Somebody recently said to me, I've lived more life than I have in front of me. And I think that's pretty commonplace around this time of life. To realize we have more, we have, hopefully have plenty of more time, but we've spent a bunch of it already. So it says, here's a list of unhinged and the best way things for 2026, especially for me. Embodied, bold, relational, smart, sensual, and high agency. So before I say that, I'll just briefly say I have a doctorate in urban planning from Harvard. I worked for about a decade and a half as a social policy researcher, trying to understand what kind of programs help people move out of poverty. Punchline, none. Some education a little bit, so I quit. And then I went and opened a learning center in New Jersey and ran that for about 6 years, where we actually got to work one-on-one with kids. I had a beautiful staff most of the time and was able to make a big difference. I still hear from families now and some of my old staff, and They tell me how well they're doing, and they give the work we did together a lot of credit. So that was good. That was satisfying work. But then I was getting bored because I do that. Once my mind has figured something out, it doesn't really want to keep doing it. And it sort of lined up with the time I needed to really focus on my kid. So I have a 20-year-old now, 20-year-old son who's off to college again for the second time. We did this last year and we launched him again this year. I launched him again this year. We, meaning he and I, launched him to college again, and he's very happy. He's been there just a week, but he's feeling very good about it. And that's quite a difference from his experience at an unnamed school. You can look it up if you want. There's lots of YouTube videos about him, where he wasn't comfortable from day one. I saw the first video that he had with the team, and I said, "Oh, hates it." Anyway, so he bounced back out of there, and now has bounced back into something that he wants more, which is terrific. All that to say, I've been a mom, I've been a worker, I've been a caregiver, I've been whatever for probably about 25 years, and I am done. I am done with it. And so me living for me means, maximizing my free will, doing what I want, following my pleasure, following the uh-huhs in my life, being bold, creating interesting things. So the chatter was pretty good about knowing me. We've been talking for probably 2 years, so it knows me pretty well. So my 2026 Unhinged menu includes a number of categories. You can see them over here: body, pleasure, aliveness, love, intimacy, relating, money, power, career, identity, reinvention, myth making, social, adventure, plot twists, deeply unhinged but actually wise, and then it gave me some bingo add-ons, a rule of the oldies, and a tiny challenge. So we're going to go through this whole thing because why not? So under the first category, body, pleasure, aliveness, says number 1, take a solo trip with no productivity goal, not for business, not networking, just pleasure, rest, beauty, and being seen by nobody. So I think that is a yes, I can do that one. Highlight that mug. Yeah, I could do that one probably in the next month. Let me take a weekend trip or a weekday. It doesn't matter. I don't have a job. I can do what I want, I guess, until I get busy with work for Cuddless and Touch IQ. I don't feel like doing a photo shoot. I am kind of interested in this one. Learn one physical skill that makes me feel dangerous in a good way. It gave me some suggestions like pole or archery or boxing, tango, horseback riding, aerial, shooting hoops with a trainer, whatever lights me up. And I think for me, that one is going to be, get my keyboard, I got multiple things to handle, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I think I'm going to go, I tried Jiu-Jitsu a long time ago, probably 8-9 years ago now. Briefly, and it was fun. It's tough. Like, I have a torn rotator cuff, which I'm never going to get surgery for. So some things I can't do, but most of the things I can, and I will modify because I'm a grown ass bitch and I can do what the fuck I want, including as much or as little as I want of this new venture. So stay tuned. I'm going to need to find a jiu-jitsu studio between here and Detroit where I live to take me up, hopefully with some women in the class. Although rolling on a mat with men is fun too, probably. Spend a whole month saying no immediately when it's a no. I don't see why that's not just a basic operating system hack. So sure, let's do that one. That's easy. It says no softening, no over-explaining, no mothering people through your boundaries. Do a sensuality challenge for yourself only. 30 days of touch, movement, mirror time, music, oil, stretch, breath. No posting, no performing. I'll probably do that later. This sounds fun. So we're in the next category, love, intimacy, and relating. Host an invitation-only adult play salon. So if you don't know, you're about to find out. I have I have a couple businesses that are just starting, which means they are pre-revenue. Let's just call it that. Almost pre-revenue. One is called Touch High Q. You can visit our website, touchhighq.com, HIGHQ, letter Q.com. And there you will see information about the service I'm most interested in providing, which is touch literacy, touch education, non sexual touch education. And because in that year between when I was a social policy researcher and I opened my tutoring center, I was free, just like now. I said, I don't have a job, I can do whatever I want. And I went to, probably found it on Eventbrite, something called a cuddle party. I don't know how I found it. I don't remember anything about that period other than I went into an apartment in New York City, an Upper East Side, I think. One person, and I left changed. My brain chemistry was different. How I felt in my body was different. I probably was high from oxytocin and serotonin release from the cuddling and the safety and etc. So a cuddle party in 2017 changed my world. And I became an advocate for non-sexual touch as a means of connection, as a means of nervous system regulation, um, etc. that happens from it. And I actually started working for Cuddlist, which was an adjacent company, because the president of that company happened to be the facilitator of this workshop that I went to. It's not, cuddle party's not really a workshop, but anyway, there's not, I don't know a better word for it. And we started chit chatting. I said, oh, I have this PhD from Harvard. I've got this whole research career, but I just quit and blah, blah, blah. He said, oh, we need some research done. And so, I started working for them as a researcher. A little bit about PTSD and the use of cuddle therapy to support folks who have been traumatized. And in coming back to Cuddlist recently, the work is so incredibly richly developed and richly trauma informed. It's not trauma focused. It can be for anybody who wants a cuddle and wants to feel better, wants to get some experience relating physically, but without the pressure of sex and those kinds of things. Um, but at the time, they were just starting to look at the trauma work. And then I liked that, but then I was so, um, again, just so moved by the experience of cuddling that I became a practitioner as well. And I worked with clients then. All my clients were men. Most of them were understood the rules of the game. I had one I had to let go because he did not understand the rules, which is completely platonic, non-sexual touch. But most were cool. And again, now the landscape of cuddlist clients is very different because we've got about half female clients. A lot of them are seeking therapeutics. Some of my colleagues work in a triadic model with therapists, and some people just want a good hug and a good snuggle. And so, all that to say, host an invitation-only adult play salon. Uh, yeah. So Touch IQ is adult-focused work where people come to work with me either individually. I train couples on how they can work together better, and then our most beautiful offer is what we call Touch IQ Labs, which are group events. And somewhere in between those two are private parties that I develop for people who want to have a private party with a group of their friends. So this is probably telling me to do one myself here in my place or somewhere. Elegant, consent forward, beautiful food, real conversation, touch demos optional, my lane. So anyway, that's an interesting idea. I might do that. I kind of had it in mind anyway. I wanted to invite, it's part of the networking strategy is to invite 5 people over who don't know each other and have a party, but I can add a little adult play salon or touch aspect to it. This says, ask for something so specific it scares you. I don't really know what that means, so I'm going to hold on that one and think about that more. But it says, in love, sex, friendship, or business, the kind of ask that reveals your standards. Write a lover application just for fun. I actually did that this morning or last night. I can't remember. What is time, baby? But I've got it. At least I have my notes for it right here. I think I'll shoot another video about that. But I did think about who I want in my space because it's easy for me to get people in my space. It's a little bit harder to get to dictate exactly who without being very conscious about it. So this is a good exercise for me. So it's not literally to send unless you want to, but as a clarity exercise for how he moves, speaks, leads, listens, touches, and repairs. So yeah, I have done that one. Maybe I should color this one green instead. Green, because it is done. Whoop. Let's see if we can do it. Yeah, we can. Amen. Very good. Take a man you like on a date you designed. I have to see somebody I want to take on a date, then I'll consider this one. It says reverse the script, curate the environment, see how he responds to being in your world. It wasn't a date at all, but a friend of mine introduced me to a man who she knows who lives sort of between New Jersey and here. And we met the other day at my club. So I belong to a women's club in Detroit. And so that kind of was. It wasn't really a date, though. It wasn't a date at all. But he's cool. And I did bring him into my world. So I might give myself a half point for that one. The next one, have a truth weekend. No performing, no strategic femininity, no overfunctioning, just clean truth with someone who can handle it. Give me an opportunity, I'll give it to somebody, some truth. The next one is money, power, career, my favorite category. I'm also a Capricorn with 5 Earth planets, so these are some of my favorite things to focus on and develop. Says raise your prices in one area before you feel ready. My prices are always sliding scale, so okay, that's kind of done. But I might up the price on my landing page for my other work, my other business, which is coaching women who are world builders to use various sources of power, including the power of their orgasm, to move fully into themselves and into their not stereotypical femininity, so that they can help create a world in our own image to get away from this. I mean, the patriarchy is crumbling anyway, one way or another, but it's doing it so violently. I'd love to smooth that out a little bit by helping women who are already in peak positions of power embody their perspective, the woman's perspective, more in the things that they create. So that's at dralissa.com. Right now it says engagements start at 25,000, but I'll probably up it to 40 because VIP days with me will do transform people pretty quickly. So that'd probably be a little bit more than one VIP day, maybe a weekend or an extended period, but I'll do that. I'll change the website a little bit. Also for that, I've been thinking about it sort of as I get into my human design a little bit more, that one thing I do want to do probably is move away from just being accessible to people generally, which I have been, to being referral or interview based only. So I can't really work with people. You can't just like book me at random. The work is too intimate. It's too transformative, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so that's probably the other part of this. So maybe I'll make that note here. Raise my prices and, excuse me for jiggling the microphone around. Raise my prices and, why is this italic? Stop it. And add in exclusivity by referral or interview only. Yeah, that feels correct. So we'll do that. It takes two sentences on the back end of the website. Although I have professionals created, I do know how to tweak it once it's up. Okay, so I guess I will highlight that one and say, yes, ma'am. Why not? Pitch something too big for your current comfort. I don't know. I sent out some emails the other day. It wasn't really a pitch, though. So I guess I'll hold off on that. Or maybe this one can go into the, we'll look at it category, because I had a friend, an old friend of mine. I reached out to him. He's a Detroit guy, and I said, I have some ideas I wanted to talk through with you. So he took me out to dinner the other night, and I laid out sort of my larger vision for Touch IQ and for setting up the Detroit metro area as a hub of high touch, high intimacy, strong related, trauma healed, as a trauma healed place. So he got the vision, and the next day he said, send me a one pager so I can start talking to people about this. I said, okay, I'll send it to you later today. And then he said, I always wanted to work with you, but you got out of the research game. I said, I'm not out of the research game. I still take consulting jobs. I just don't really advertise it. And he was pleased to hear that. And he said, I have this vision of us working together. He's like a political guy, works a lot of campaigns and that kind of stuff, of us combining our superpowers, my research experience and my pedigree from Harvard, blah, blah, all that stuff, with his very seasoned political thing to make some money and make a difference. So anyway, maybe we'll put something together that's too big for my current comfort to pitch. So that sounds like actually a lot of fun to do this year, in the next quarter, maybe. Create a premium offer with an outrageous standard. So for me, this, it says white glove, beautiful, transformative, the kind of thing that makes people whisper, wait, she's doing what? When I originally thought about this, one of the things I don't talk about, although I am extremely comfortable because of personal experiences with sexuality and because I'm a mature adult with a very clearly defined head and ajna. If you know about human design, you know what that means. I've got a closed circuit here, and then I've got a closed circuit in my sacral root and spleen. So I have a strong and active brain and a high sex drive, high survival guide, high survival drive, and a high intuitive drive. And so the thing that I have that's under that framework that, again, I don't advertise, is sort of being a bedroom coach for people. I've been in situations where, in the lifestyle, I guess you call it, where, sexuality is happening around me. Sometimes I'm happening around other people. And so it doesn't intimidate me at all to be in a room with people who are having sex. But I think there's this, for cis het women in heterosexual relationships with men, the orgasm gap is enormous. And because I believe orgasm is a source of our creative power as women, going into bedrooms with people, helping them while they're at it, not participating, no touchy, no, I'm not participating, but I'm supporting. I'm asking questions about comfort or helping desires come forth, especially from her. In my book, How to Be Her Favorite Lover Ever, I talk about this pretty extensively, that a lot of women don't have a strong sexual or desire vocabulary and have a hard time expressing what they want in the bedroom. And I'm not going to say one way or another about how men are responsible for that. Use your own brain to figure that part out. But I would love to have opportunity to work individually with couples around sexual satisfaction while the sex is happening, because People say, well, talk to him about it before, talk to him about it after. And literally, that shit does not work. Because if it worked, the gap between male orgasm and female orgasm in cis het sex wouldn't be 40 points difference. Men are orgasming about 90% of the time, women about 54%. So, if that's not outrageous enough for you, now that's my idea about that. So, I think that would be fun to offer. Um, High support earlier than it feels responsible. Okay, whatever, I will. Say my real ambition out loud in a room that can hold it. Does this count as a room? I guess I just said it. So anyway, take that and run with it, baby. But I'll keep saying it in different rooms. I mentioned it to my friend Jamil the other day, kind of. She had a different idea, but that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, I guess while I have you. So the other thing is, because I am familiar with the lifestyle, um, and there are thousands of people, millions of people probably in it, in this very country, in your state, your neighbor, probably you. Um, the lack of intimacy there, the transactional nature of it, especially in party situations, is pretty off-putting for me. I don't like that. And I had this idea 10 years ago, but I said, wouldn't it be cool if there was more intimacy and more connection in these events? And so I said, wouldn't it be fun to test out the touch high Q idea sort of in that lifestyle framework where people are learning about touch, people are learning about turn ons, people are learning about consent and boundaries and things which are incredible precursors for more erotic, pleasurable, evenly distributed, bold, bounded sexual experiences that happen in parties. So anyway, I mentioned that to him. So I don't know, could cook that up as well. We'll see. Sounds like a fun year so far. Next, we've got identity, reinvention, and myth making. So dress like the woman you're becoming for 30 straight days. My wardrobe is shitty, I have to admit. It has gone downhill significantly since I stopped working in the JOB every day. I got really fat in the pandemic. Fat doesn't matter. That doesn't stop people from wanting me. But I like being leaner than I am right now. But my clothes are really like convenience. Can I fit this over my fat butt kind of thing, as opposed to I like how this looks. So I just threw out 3 pairs of pants that are trash that I wore embarrassingly. So I'm culling my wardrobe, and actually I got rid of a lot of stuff in the last 2 years just because I've moved 3 times in the last 2 years. So a lot of clothes are missing. Some of which I liked, but most of them were whatever. So yeah, I could do that, but probably not this minute. Change one thing that everyone assumes about you. I don't really care about that. I'm not changing I've had blue hair periodically over the last 5 years. Signature style, maybe, I don't know what that means. So those are not sparking that much interest in me, but sure. How available I am, that part about changing the terms of how people can approach me to work with me, and what I no longer explain. Maybe that's that yes no thing. Throw yourself a private milestone ceremony with witnesses, candles, music, spoken vows. Mark the crossing. What? Let that one cook for a minute. Write a manifesto and read it on camera. It's not a manifesto, but I might again revisit and do a video about this boyfriend partner application thing. So that's kind of a manifesto, because I've had so many men love me, and I have not been unlucky in love, but I do have specific ideas about what I want in terms of that going forward. So, okay, manifesto. All right, highlighted, Alissa, don't forget. That one I'll do. Do one thing for your younger self would find unbelievable. My younger self would find a lot of shit I do unbelievable right now, to be honest. But I'll think about that one. It's not critical for me. That's the assignment. That's the medicine, it said. Social adventure plot twist. Say yes to one invitation that makes no logical sense but feels alive. Yeah, baby, invite me to something. I invite you to invite me to something, and let me see if I'll go. Not unsafe, but delightfully irrational. Sure. I think Detroit is pretty fun in the summer, so maybe that's one thing that will happen. Host a dinner for people who don't know each other but should. That's probably like the adult play party thing it said up top. So okay, the dog has to go to boarding though because he is so annoying when people are here. So anyway, I got to plan that a little bit. You are very good at creating ecosystems. Use it. Yes, sir, ma'am. ChatGPT. Take a class where you're very obviously not the expert. I think that jujitsu probably can cover that because I don't know jack about it. Let yourself be new. Let yourself be taught. Amazing. Sounds wonderful. I'm happy to put down the reins and just learn. Somebody's calling me. Like a doctor's appointment or something. Anyway, ignore that. Spend a day in your city as if you were a rich tourist. Okay. Alright. Sounds good to me. I'll figure that out. But I probably won't do it till spring because this weather sucks. Start a tiny secret project with no monetization plan. I do not have anything in mind. I kind of do stuff I want to do already, so I got to think about that. So I'm going to leave that one for now. Deeply unhinged category, but actually wise. Make a do before I'm 81 list with my friends. So maybe I'll call Betty up and say, babe, what do you want to do before you turn 81? I don't actually know when her birthday is, but I'm happy to do that. Intergenerational mischief planning. Gold. Hell yeah. Ask 10 people older than 70, what do you wish you had done sooner? Then do one of those things immediately. That sounds like fun. I have cousins who are over 70 because I'm old now. They're old, baby. Pick a theme that would embarrass your cautious self. I don't care about this. I don't really know what that is. Think about that one later, baby. And take one risk every month that increases my self-respect. This is a key metric, not a success. One risk every month that increases my self-respect. I'm going to highlight it. I don't really know what that means, but let that percolate. Build a regret minimization habit. Once a week, what am I postponing that is actually my life? I thought about this one. Like I said, I got super fat in the pandemic. Still pretty fat, but I'm luckily, knock wood, very healthy still. But I like my lean body. I have not spent much of my life in my lean body. It's a lot of work. It was a lot of work to get there and stay there. And so I'm in the stage where, yes, I want to be lean again, but I have to figure out how to do it in a way that's less painful than the bodybuilding way. Because first of all, I don't have a community of support there like I did here, where it's very bodybuilding culture. Your personal 2026 unhinged bingo add-ons are very me, according to ChatGPT. These feel especially aligned with your lane. Host a Touch IQ salon in a beautiful non-traditional venue, art space, private home, boutique hotel suite. Okay, I'm happy to do that. Literally, that's my business, so I hope to hell I'm doing it. We actually have 2 coming up in Chicago land, Quad Cities land, coming up next month in March. So if you're interested in that, hit me with a comment or a DM. I'm happy to give you info. Probably the Saturday event's going to be sold out, but there might be space for you on the Sunday. I think the 21st and 22nd of March. Let's find out more, or you can find out more. DM me. Create a touch lab, older and wiser. That is so cute for women 60 and older. I have to find some women 60 and older. I know a lot of younger people. Maybe. I think I'm going to hold off on that one. Do a one-night pleasure without pressure experience and document. What does that mean, I wonder? pleasure without pressure, experience and document the impact. Is that for me to experience or for somebody else? I guess I get to decide. Publish a raw voice note style essay. Does this count? Counting it. And plan a lover friendly life. Space schedule rituals before the lover fully arrives. So I have a lover right now. I got people who love me. I got people definitely willing to screw me. So, but lover friendly life, space schedule rituals. Yeah, so I did set a goal on my desire bingo card to sleep next to a man, although I've scrapped that and said next to a lover because I might be gay for the summer. We'll see. 100 nights in 2026. We are in probably day 50 something and out of 365, and I'm at 0 out of 55. So I gotta get on that shit. But okay, why not, baby? Spend 1/4 operating as if your work is already a category of 1. My work already is a category of 1. Nobody's doing this exact thing that I'm doing. I just want to get my hands on people to do it with. We're going to review the oldie rule. Keep this. If your 80-year-old friend says do it, ask, will this harm me? If yes, then we're not doing it. Will this cost me something I can't afford? If yes, I'm either not doing it or I'm going to redesign. Or will this make a good story and a stronger self? If yes, probably yes. That's the filter. Tiny challenge for this week. Pick one unhinged thing under $200 and put it on the calendar now. Not someday, a date, a place, a look. Your elder is right. This is not a decade for behaving like you're waiting to be chosen. Because fuck that shit. I'm going to make that a juicy orange for us. One unhinged thing under $200 and put it on my calendar now. I was going to go get acupuncture. That's not that unhinged, but I don't really do that. I don't know. I got to think about it. I guess I'll come back to that one and shoot another video. I like this screen recording shit. I'm going to do some more. So if you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, share it with a friend, leave a comment. Hype it. I don't know if I even have hype on this channel, but whatever you can do to support it, to spread the word, to let this be, as a new social media friend in my head said, let your digital twin go out and spread the word 24 hours a day. So you can help me spread the word 24 hours a day by doing one or all of those things. I appreciate that. I'm glad I got to spend this time with you. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Hope you were inspired to create your own unhinged list for 2026. If you did, let me know some of the items. Tag me in your video about your unhinged list, all that good stuff. Let's do this. No time to be holding back or waiting to be chosen, or what did we say at the top? Stop acting like you have unlimited time to be interesting. Again, I'm Dr. Alissa. Thanks for being here with me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.